Hey, what's up, everybody? Back again. Just wanted to do a little video. I've been getting asked questions about whether or not I thought Rodgers could three-peat as MVP. Well, you know, 5 years ago, he was well, I guess it was like 4 years ago, but McCarthy, got fired, and Rodgers had kind of had some down years. The Packers didn't have a good season. They didn't make it to the playoffs. That's kind of why Goody drafted Jordan Love as time kind of progressed. With LaFleur, his first year he did well, but they went 13-3. Obviously, LaFleur has done great, but Rodgers, his numbers weren't down, but that first year with LaFleur he didn't win the MVP. But you could see that some of that was moving along, and I liked how guys were getting schemed open in this system. With McCarthy, it was just like, let's line up and run this same play, see if it works this time, and that didn't work. So LaFleur was scheming guys open, and you could really see that. Okay, he's making the offense go this way, making the defense go that way with them, and then some guy goes the other way, and he's wide open. So as that kind of started formulating, Rodgers really took control of it all, added what he wanted, added what he liked, and the last 2 years have been insane for Rodgers. It really, for him to be able to do what he has, and we get criticized for having no weapons right now. We lost the best receiver in the league, Davante, but besides him, Rodgers, hasn't really had a lot of top guys recently, and he's never had a first round wide receiver draft pick. So everybody that he's had around him, he's kind of made into the player that they are today, or the player that they became. Jennings and Jordy and Cobb were all like second round picks, so they, Davante was second round too. So they all were drafted high. They all, should have went maybe higher, but the fact that Rodgers turned all these guys into stars in this league really shows that he's able to do that with pretty much anyone. He made guys like Jeff Janis look good, which Janis couldn't figure out the playbook, but he still had the 2 Hail Mary catches against the Cardinals in the playoffs that year. So Rodgers, last 3 seasons with LaFleur, 13-3, 13-3, and then last year 13-4. But he went 13-3 technically because the one loss was Jordan Love. So basically 3 straight seasons of 13-3 for Rodgers. The last 2 seasons winning the MVP, he really had crazy seasons. 48 touchdowns in 2020, and then 37 touchdowns last year, but only 9 interceptions over the course of the 2 years. I guess, okay, so two in 2018, 4 in 2019, 5 in 2020, and then 4 in 2021. So what's that, 9, 13, 15 in the last 4 years, and then 21 in the last 5 years. Some guys, Jameis threw 30 in a season, so how many years does it take for Rodgers to get to 30? You'd have to go back to add from 2015 to 2021, and he's got over 30, but that's insane, and so people wanted to argue that last year Brady should have won the MVP because his PFF rating was higher technically by like a few, like half of a percentage point, or like 1 percentage point, so not much. But Rodgers had a 111.9, basically a 112% quarterback rating. So that's just, he set the record with like 122, but 120. Last year was 2020 was 121 and a half. That was crazier. But his record-setting season is 122 and a half. So, he's right there though. And after 2019, it was down to 95, and the years before that was like 97. So he's really bounced back. And to see that after that injury season in 2017, you know, he took them. It seems like he took them. 2018 they went 6-9-1 after that year with him getting hurt. They didn't do well. So with McCarthy they went 6-9-1. So that's why he got fired. And then to bounce back and go 13-3 all those years in a row, 3 years in a row. It's hard to argue that he shouldn't have won the MVP. So the fact that the Packers didn't have the playoff success that people thought they should have, being the first seed 2 years in a row, having a home NFC Championship game, obviously you got to meet Tom Brady, and what the worst possible thing, having Brady be the one that Rodgers has to play to get to the Super Bowl is just kind of like, how the world works. It's just like, go figure, basically, because any other quarterback Rodgers would have won likely. The fact that it was Brady made it like, okay, can't really bet against Brady here, and yeah, so the game was tough too because the Packers defense did play well then, and then same thing with last year. Packers defense played well in that game too, and they still couldn't come out on top. But that was the divisional game. It wasn't the NFC Championship game like they had been in the 2 years prior, but still, the MVP is a regular season award. Rodgers' regular season has been phenomenal, like it has been pretty much his entire career, except for those years that he got hurt. Basically, always been in 4,000 yards, except for the years he got injured. Besides 2010 when they won the Super Bowl, he was at 3,900. So basically, kind of funny that happened, but that just showed they had a little more of a balanced attack and everything. But not having Davante is going to be huge, just because he gets open. He's a go-to guy in the red zone. That's why he's had so many touchdowns over the last 3 years, probably leading the league, and so that's going to be hard to replace, of course. But the reason why I think Rodgers is going to be able to repeat as MVP, repeat again, it's still repeating, but it's repeating now, so is the fact that he's not going to be so Davante centric. That's just going to help him so much, because the way he forced it to 17 in the San Francisco game, especially at the end there, 3rd and 10, he kind of forced it into double coverage down the middle. When he had Lazard, streaking across the middle, wide open, would have probably caught the first down for sure. And who knows how far he could have gone after that. He might have been gone based on all the angles and everything, and having Davante down there to block. So would have been interesting to see. Anyway, that's not what happened. But not being so focused on Davante all the time is just going to really allow the play calling, the play design, to allow guys to run open and get open and kind of run picks and just scheme guys to be open. And Rodgers just has to hit the open guy instead of being forced to try to get it to one guy, whether or not he's covered or not. And the thing about Tay is he's open if he has that much on the guy. So that's the difference now. There's gonna be times where guys aren't wide open, and Tay would still be able to catch it. We need guys that are gonna be able to make contested catches and just make plays, basically. And guys, Lazard's 6'5". He's not gonna get pushed around out there. He's gonna be able to make some jump ball catches, 50-50 ball catches. And what we've been seeing from Romeo Doubs already in camp is that he's a playmaker. He can make those 50-50 grabs, and I just really think that all the skill sets of the receivers that they have right now bring a little different pieces, a bunch of different pieces, and together they're going to collectively be greater as a whole, because without Davante, he's a big loss and he's great, but now it's going to really open it up to utilize each player's skill set and make it so that Rodgers can just get it to whoever's open and let them go do their work. I mean, even Amari Rodgers, quick, shifty, you get him open in space, get him the ball, he could be gone. Romeo Doubs has proved that he can do that. He did that at Nevada. He was, over the top, and he ran a 4.5, I think, even faster than Davante. So it's just he can really do something. Obviously, Christian Watson, young and raw, but he's also like 6'4", 6'5". So with 4.3 speed, like MVS had, he can come in and just kind of be that game breaker. He's gonna probably take some time to come on, but if we can just send them deep, like, run some plays early on that kind of set it up for this deep ball to him, and then have him go and just, MVS would drop a lot of these. So if he can catch a lot of these, that can be a huge piece. And then you have old, reliable Randall Cobb, who Rodgers likes. Cobb had a few good games last year. I think he had a one game where he had 2 touchdowns. So, I mean, for a guy that nobody wanted except Rodgers, and Goody wouldn't even, I wouldn't have brought him in here. I think he said something like that. So the fact that he's there, kind of that security blanket early on, at least until these rookies can come along. I do like Samari Torre, the other rookie receiver, the 7th rounder, but he's probably going to be more of a special teams guy. We'll see if Sammy Watkins can get on the field. Like I said, it's that hamstring, but with or without Watkins, I don't think he's going to be a huge, catalyst for whether or not Rodgers can win this MVP. He can be a good player, but he hasn't really been a major piece on any team he's been on, except for early on in his career, and that it's been a while. So, like I said, he's hurt again. But the guys who are out there, you have Lazard, you have Doubs, and then you have Watson, Cobb, those 4. That's a decent starting 4. You'll be able to run the tight ends, whether or not, Tanyan or Davis, but I think utilizing the running backs is going to be a huge part of Rodgers' pass yards, pass efficiency, less throwing it away, more easy passes, less trying to force it downfield, more setting stuff up for deep balls. But passes to the running backs are the safest throws you can make. That's what Rodgers and James White had. Brady and James White had all their years of success doing, is just the dump off and let them go. I think James White had like 11 catches in that Super Bowl. So, but yeah, for guys like Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon, I've seen Tyler Goodson be able to catch passes too if he makes the squad, but I really think that Jones is probably he could lead the league in receptions. I'm kind of kidding because I hope it's not him. I hope it's Lazard or Doubs. I hope they both have more catches than Jones, because that just means that they both had good seasons. Because I really think Jones is going to have a lot of balls thrown his way this year. He had like 9 grabs in that last playoff game, and so if he averaged 9, he'd be way over. He'd have a lot of catches this year, but he's not going to do that. But even if he's like 4 or 5, it's going to add up. He's going to have 60, 70 catches, and that's going to be huge just because he's so athletic and just such a versatile player. And he's so quick and shifty, and he's just like, we got thunder and lightning. So Dillon can catch balls out of the backfield too. I think you get him out in space, and it's like a truck. So that can lead to good things as well. So, if we get Derrick Henry out on the screen, I think Dillon's running style is similar, at least. I'm not calling him Derrick Henry yet. I'm just saying that his running style is similar. He's just bigger and stronger than most everybody, and just as fast. So Rodgers is going to utilize all that. Getting Big Bobby Tanyan back, I think, could be big. Obviously, a couple years ago, he led the league in tight end touchdowns, and if he can get back to at least even like 80% of that form, at least early on, he can be a big piece. Just not focusing on Davante so much. Obviously, we lost Marquez Valdez-Scantling. That's a pretty big loss. He was the deep threat, but a lot of those clutch catches that he needed to make, he would drop. And so not having him, Out of Chiefs camp, I've heard he's kind of like the best receiver right now. They have Juju, but anyway, so losing him is something we'll have to replace. That's why I think Watson can be that guy. We'll see how he progresses as training camp goes on, but I just really think that with all these pieces and the fact that the offensive line, with Jenkins and Bach hopefully being healthy, they're going to be stacked. I mean, that's 2 Pro Bowlers on the offensive line. You throw in a second-year player, Josh Myers, who's going to be able to play really well at center. And then whoever you throw at right tackle or left guard, wherever Jenkins doesn't go, is really going to be positioned in a good spot, just because whoever they're next to is going to be, pretty much a Pro Bowler. And then may the best man win. It's so that offensive line, they've been rated top 5 by like Pro Football Focus and some other rating systems. So the offensive line set, Rodgers is top 1. He's been rated number 1 in a lot of these polls after years of, he kind of wasn't, and then now he's older and winning the MVP, so now he is number 1, even ahead of Mahomes. But so you got the number 1 rated quarterback, top rated offensive line. Everybody question marks the receivers and tight ends, but I really think the defense is the major catalyst in all this, because being a top 5 defense, they're going to be getting forcing turnovers, getting the ball back for Rodgers, 3 and outs, quick drives. Rodgers is going to get the ball back a lot, good field position, things like that. I mean, that's a huge part of allowing a young offense to have success, is short fields or playing with a lead or, things like that. So having a really dominant defense, which the Packers are going to have a top 5 defense, I really think so, with the way the defensive line is formulating, with those young linebackers, the All-Pro middle linebacker, Rashawn Gary coming on, and then that secondary is going to be a no-fly zone. Jair's already shutting down everything at training camp day 2, so training camp is, Jair's going to be shut down corner all season, and then Stokes coming into his own. He really played a lot of snaps last year. I think he's going to be solid. And then Douglas, who Pro Bowl, basically off the street guy, and we got him and Devondre Campbell off the street last year. Nobody wanted them. Every team had a chance to pick either one of those guys, and they did not. So the Packers took a chance on them. Saw what is pretty obvious when you watch the tape, and look what they've done. So this defense is going to be really helpful for this offense, especially early on in the season. Get the ball rolling, but I think it's going to allow Rodgers to still put up numbers and have the stats that he needs to be in the MVP race, especially the fact that he doesn't throw interceptions, the fact that the offensive line is so good, the fact that they have such a good running game. It's going to really open up a lot of different things. Not only can the running backs catch passes, it's going to be probably a top 5 running back duo in the league as well. This tandem, I know a lot of teams have good running backs, but not really the kind of the contrast that Jones and Dillon are. If you ever saw the picture of them, it's like this, and one guy's like this, and one guy's so. They totally have different skill sets. They totally have different running styles, and they both are, top backs. Dillon doesn't get the respect that he deserves because he hasn't done enough stat-wise to get it. Jones has had 4 touchdown games, so his stats, are off the charts. He had a 20 touchdown season, so people look at him as the elite guy, but Dillon's just as good. I almost think that Dillon should be the lead back and then kind of run Jones as the change of pace back, but either way, however you do it, if you start Jones and then change the pace with Dillon, it's kind of the same concept, but Dillon just powers those guys. So, but anyway, Rodgers having that behind him, allowing him to play action and kind of run the, just lull the defense to sleep a little bit. Just have that as a weapon is huge. Having the strong defense is huge, and then that offensive line is just, nothing happens unless you can throw. Obviously, Joe Burrow able to get away with 9 sacks against the Titans, but it doesn't happen often. Usually, if you have 9 sacks, you lose. So, offensive line is such an important part of the whole team, let alone the offense. And just having Bach back, so important. I think Jenkins will be ready. He's, at least if he's good to go, then that's part of it. But hopefully Bach's ready by the playoffs, I guess. Because I assume the Packers are going to be able to get through the season and be one of the elite teams just with all these pieces. If the Packers, they win the division, they're top seed, Rodgers puts up the same numbers, there's no reason why he won't be in the MVP conversation. So I really look forward to watching how the season progresses. There are, quarterbacks like Justin Herbert, who I think could be an MVP candidate. I know they haven't made the playoffs, but I think that he's going to just really dominate this year. I really do. Even more so than guys like Joe Burrow, and I don't think Matt Stafford really. Brady's kind of always in the MVP conversation. Now that he has Julio, that's his offense is going to be pretty explosive. But they don't have Bruce as the no risk it, no biscuit coach anymore. So they might not throw it as much. They might be more run oriented, or just not as many deep balls, and so maybe the offense won't be as electrifying as some of the other ones. Josh Allen could be MVP, obviously. Patrick Mahomes, but without Tyreek, he's got Juju and MVS. Who's going to be the big play guy for the Chiefs? It'll be interesting to see. They kind of have the same question marks on offense. What are they going to do after they lost their big-time All-Pro receiver like the Packers did? So there are guys, obviously, out there that are going to put up numbers. But right now, Rodgers has as good a chance as any to three-peat at this point in his career would be insane. It would be really crazy. It just... putting up 48 last year was just phenomenal. That was an obvious he's going to win it. Putting up 37 though last year in 4, that's that the touchdown to interception ratio is what I look at a lot. Brady had double-digit interceptions last year, so he had almost equal many touchdowns, but it comes down to that ratio, and whether you had more yards or better completion percentage or whatever, it's still being that different. It's mind-blowing, and the fact that he's been able to do that consistently, like so many different seasons after another, shows that he obviously is the best. So we will see how this season goes. Hopefully everything I say comes to fruition, because I really think the Packers need to get one more Super Bowl before Rodgers retires. I want to get LaFleur a Super Bowl. Once Rodgers retires, and if we go to Love, there's going to be a process, no doubt. But Love is going to inherit the same great team that Rodgers has right now. So if he can be even close, Packers could be good for years to come. So let's hope Rodgers gets another MVP. He gets the Super Bowl this year. He comes back next year. They win it again next year. But all that after we have preseason game 1 of this year. So, all right, guys, that's it. I just wanted to tell you why I think Rodgers is going to win the MVP this year.